Welcome to Back to the Basics, Interrupting Unconscious Bias. Um, my name is Carrie Cavers, and I am the founder and principal consultant at Acronym Consulting, a belonging and equity consulting and training agency. I'm also the founder and president of the nonprofit organization Moms Against Racism Canada, and I'm really excited to be sharing this challenge with you. Back to the basics, interrupting unconscious bias. So you've had the opportunity to participate in some pretty awesome and advanced challenges so far. Now, recognizing that not everyone might be at a place in their understanding to take on a bigger systems challenge, or perhaps, might be kind of near the start of their learning and unlearning journey, I thought it might be good to go back to those basics and just start at the beginning again. So let's start with the ABCs of our attitudes. So A stands for affect, or the feelings that we have about the world around us. And our prejudice is tied to our feelings, and our feelings will be influenced by our thoughts and our actions. Now, B stands for behavior, or the actions that we take. And these actions will be influenced by our thoughts and our feelings, and they can be discriminatory. Now, C stands for cognition, or the thoughts that we have about the world around us. And the biases that we use and the stereotypes that we've accepted to be true become our default thoughts. And then these thoughts influence our feelings and our behaviors. So, to make lasting change, we need to be addressing all three, both at the individual, like our personal level, as well as the organizational level or the systems levels. And so, as an individual, if we just try and force ourselves to have different behaviors without really understanding the what, why, when, how, but who, our actions, they often end up being performative, or they can cause more harm because we don't have that underlying understanding. Now, as an organization, this looks like or shows up like those checkbox measures or policies that are made but then never really used or enforced or holding people accountable to them. Now, if we are just increasing our emotional intelligence, so, our self awareness, building our empathy, increasing our stress tolerance, all those kinds of things, we may get better at holding space for other people without getting defensive. We may be able to become better listeners, but our conditioned thinking may stop us from taking action. Now, in an organization, this might mean creating lots of employee resource or affinity groups where people can have those connections, or creating a culture that's more open to talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, but then not having any follow through with changes that are needed, or potentially getting into situations where there's groupthink that is resistant to substantial change. So while this challenge is starting with the C of our ABCs and learning how to interrupt our unconscious biases, I encourage you to also always be working on those A's and B's too. So let's get started. Now, from the moment that you looked at my photo for this challenge, maybe opened up this video, read a little bit about me, that you've been forming an opinion about me, and about this challenge and about the workshop that I'm offering. So I want to do a little activity with you. So I encourage you now, I invite you now to find a piece of paper, open up a Word doc, and in a moment, you're going to take 2 minutes to free write your thoughts about me and this challenge. And I want to put you at ease. I'm not going to see this. You won't need to share it. So whatever comes to mind, I encourage you to write that down without worrying about it. And yes, I do know that I have a very large forehead, so that's okay. Now, if you said to yourself, I didn't form an opinion. I'm keeping my mind open. I don't know who you are. Why would I do that? Um, I'm just going to say that there might be some other personal work that would be worth exploring for you around it being okay for you to have uh, needs and opinions, independent thoughts, and expressing emotions. But for now, I encourage you to either take another look at my photo, or in a sec when you pause this video, keep it up on the screen, and then you can be looking at me and making all sorts of opinions. So, some things that you might want to think about is, do you think I'm kind or mean? Do you think I am high school or university educated? Do you think I'm under 40 or over 40? Am I annoying or helpful? Do you think I would be someone that's worth getting to know, or maybe not worth your time getting to know? Do I come across, or do you perceive me as being welcoming or intimidating? Do you think that I am somebody with a disability, or am I non-disabled? And then if you read along in the challenge, what about my excessive use of commas? What does that tell you about me? So now I'm going to get you to just go ahead and pause this recording for 2 minutes. And then after you've done your 2 minutes of writing, unpause me, and then we'll get going again. Okay, welcome back. How was that? How was writing about somebody that you didn't know? Um, I want you to take a look at what you wrote and just kind of reflect on some of these questions. How did you arrive at some of the opinions or the conclusions that you made? Do I maybe remind you of somebody that you've met, maybe in a good situation or in a not so great situation? Or has the media given you a narrative about people like me? And that could be a whole range of things. Did you make some assumptions based on the trust that you have of the co-working idea group? Maybe you're assigning me certain characteristics based on that relationship. Or, did my picture or introduction did invoke any kind of feelings for you? Any feelings come up? And then, ultimately reflecting upon, where did your opinion come from? Because I haven't actually told you much about me. I've told you very little about me. Now, your opinion of me and potentially any feelings or prejudices that did come up, they're in part due to your unconscious bias. So let me introduce myself again. So my name is Carrie Cavers. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And I am an anti-racism advocate, DEI facilitator, and founder of both Acronym Consulting and Moms Against Racism Canada. So I am biracial, Black presenting, neurodivergent, cisgender woman of African, English, Swedish, and Irish descent. And I am a mom to 3 wonderful neurospicy humans. Now, I do have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and I'm an emotional intelligence, or EQI 2.0 and EQ 360 certified practitioner. And I love delivering impactful anti-racism, anti-oppression workshops, and I've done so to a broad range of audiences, including the BC government, corporate and nonprofit organizations, educators, childcare providers, and families. And I've supported several organizations with diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility strategies, learning plans, and communications. I've also been interviewed many times and participated on many panels speaking on various DEI topics. So I currently live with my partner and our kiddos on the traditional territories of the Lekwungen people, known today as the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nations, in the area that is colonially referred to as Victoria, BC. Now, did that match up to what you had? Curious, isn't it? So, who has biases? Absolutely everyone has and uses biases all the time. So, biases are cognitive shortcuts that we've developed over time, really to help us live our lives. But by its nature, as a shortcut, the cognitive biases, they don't process or use or acknowledge all the information that is in front of us. It's kind of a filtering process in our brains that causes us to lose objectivity, even when we think that we're being objective, or we have structures in place to help us make processes or decisions be more objective. Now, some biases are helpful. So we often make quick judgments based on past experiences that can be beneficial for our safety and our survival. However, many biases are harmful. And that's really the problem. They're harmful to us because they keep us from being honest with ourselves and keep us from being in reality about the world around us. And they can be harmful to other people when our biases are informing how we view and treat others, how policies are drafted, and how societies are run. So, my challenge to you is to learn more about biases in general and then yours specifically. So, the idea that we can be unbiased or bias free is a nice idea, but it's not reality. What we can do is become more aware of our biases and then work to interrupt them. So we can do this by challenging our beliefs, reducing the stereotypes that we hold with by gaining more information and having experiences. And then we can also create a community of accountability for ourselves. So this month's challenge will help you get started on, or perhaps refresh your commitment to, interrupting your unconscious biases. So stay curious and have fun with the challenge. And I hope that you will join us at the full workshop coming up later this month. So make sure you register. Thanks very much and see you soon.